Nado pasana, nado pasana, nado pasana, nado pasana, nado Jai Jai Shankar Velasini O Sanado
sort of embodies the approach to music that our Vagayakaras, our composers, but I don't like to use the word composers because they are Vagayakaras, the persons who compose the lyrics as well as the music. The approach to which all our Vagayakaras, in fact many of them saints, embodies the I'll speak in English, okay. I don't know much Malayalam, but I can speak in Malayalam also, but not a free flow like this. First of all, I'd like some people in the back to come in the front. Please, a request. Spirit of our music, and among the various treasures that India has and has lost, music and several of the fine arts are still passed down from time immemorial to us through our Guru Shishya Parampara that you all know. Yesterday I gave a talk at Trivandrum in the music college, in the music department, and we had put this banner behind us, and the professor there, she said that there is an emblem, or what is that called, a logo of the music forum, which is Yuva Rasika. Yeah. Which was Yuva Rasika, order. So, Tamil Manasilavale. So, she pointed out something that even I had missed. I designed this logo, but I also missed the point that why, which is the youth, you are the future of music, so you hold the tambura. And where does the tambura point? It points towards rasikatvam, that is the appreciation. How many of you know what an in-swinger is? In cricket, by the way. Yarukkum theriyada? I don't believe that. How many of you watch a Yorker? You don't watch cricket? Please. I'm not even asking a music-related question. Show of hands. Nobody knows what a Yorker is. How many of you know what cricket is? Nobody knows what cricket is. Am I in India? Okay, cricket is a game played by a lot of Indians. Played by only by 11 Indians, but watched by probably 11 crore people. That is a popular game. Maybe it's not popular here. But I grew up learning all these terms not by playing even a single ball of cricket. Yorker, in-swinger, extra cover, boundary. And then I realized that all that I knew because of the commentary that came along with the game. Now what do we see? We see a lot of greats surrounding us who have performed at this Sabha, all great musicians and our own heroes who are adorning these walls. But Anna, vanda ava பாடி போயிருக்கா, பட் அவள் பாடுறதை சில பேரால் தான் ரசிக்க முடிகிறது. Only a few of us can really understand what's going on stage. So Music Forum, we decided to go out and reach out to the audience of the future, because now we have the performers of the future, but we need the audiences of the future, and the audience of the future must be able to appreciate what's going on. But today's topic is about the oldest surviving classical music system of the world, and that is our music. Now when you ask, sir, was it Carnatic music? Was it Hindustani music? What form? Let me say that in the beginning. How many of you are students of music, by the way? I will also raise my hand. I am also a student of music. Okay. So, fine. So, there are a lot of Rasikas also. So, I will not go very deep into the theory or anything. I will also be singing. So, the oldest living, surviving, vibrant musical system is our music. For the moment, we'll call it Indian music or Indian classical music, because the division into Carnatic or Hindustani had happened much later. So, for example, all over India today only the boundaries are known now as a nation. But over the last several millennia, I won't even say centuries, over the last 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years, we don't know how the boundaries of India was. So for purposes of convenience, we say Bharata Varsha, something like that. But the point is that we can divide our music system into three. There are many ways by which this can be classified, but for convenience, we'll look at the period which is ancient, the Vedic period, then the intermediate period, which we call as medieval history, and then the golden age of Carnatic music, which is actually during the British period. So, what were the defining factors? The ancient period was way long, maybe even before 3rd or 4th century BC. And we still have not proper documentation of how that music was. So we have a lot of legends associated with it. We have the Puranas, we have the Puranic period, we have the epic period, and so on. So we are not students of history, we are just students of music, trying to look at how music must have evolved. So let us leave aside, history is a subject where they say, when was Battle of Plassey fought? No, you have to give the date and time and all that, who fought whom. This is not that. Basically, to try and understand how our music has evolved. So, one of the parameters was when the Muslims, the invasion of North India, lot of Nariya Rajakammar and the northwest from Persia, Afghanistan, they all invaded. All that is there in the history books. Muhammad of Ghazni, Iltutmish, the slave dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, stories. And so that is still about to 1200 AD. And then of course, throughout we had the Mughal period and so on. So till the invasions from northwest India, till the British colonized our country, other medieval period no sollala. And adukapram the golden age or the modern music, how we are appreciating or singing. So a lot of, in fact, this kriti that I sang, Vedodharulu Vedatitalu, it came from the Vedas. Vedodharulu Vedatitalu, it's even before the Vedas. So if you ask me when did our music start, difficult to answer that question, because it probably started along with the Vedas. So we'll have to assume அதாவது வேதங்கள் சாண்ட் பண்ணும்போது அந்த சவுண்ட் சிஸ்டம்ஸ் அது நமக்கு கிராஜுவலாக மாறி அது நமக்கு பாட்டாக சங்கீதமாக வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ வேதங்கள் 4 அது நமக்கு தெரியும். ரிக், யஜுர், சாம அண்ட் அதர்வண வேதம். அதில் சாம வேதம் இஸ் சப்போஸ் டு பி த பேஸ் ஆர் ஃபவுண்டேஷன் ஃபார் our music. அது அந்த காலத்தில் சாமன் சாண்டிங், இப்போ 3 சாக்கை தான் இருக்குது, ஜெய்மினி சாக்கா, அந்த மாதிரி சாம வேதம் நிறைய பேர் சாண்ட் பண்ணுறதில்ல. அந்த காலத்தில் சாம வேதங்கள் நிறைய சாக்காஸ் இருந்தது. அதை சாண்ட் பண்ணுறவா சாண்டோகன் அப்படி சொல்லுவாங்க. அண்ட் வேதங்கள் மாதிரி நம்ம பாட்டும் குரு சிஷ்ய பரம்பராலேருந்து தான் வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ சப்போஸ் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் வேதம் சாண்ட் விஷ்ணோர்நுகம் வீர்யாணி பிரபோதம் எப்பார்த்திவானி நிமமே ரஜாகம் சியோ அஸ்கவாயதுத்தரகம் விஷ்ணோர் பிருஷ்டமசி வைஷ்ணவமசி விஷ்ணவேத்வாஹ, அந்த மாதிரி. அதாவது 2-3 ஸ்வரம் வச்சு, ஸோ ஒரு ஆதார ஒரு ஸ்வரம் மேலே ஒன்று கீழே ஒன்று. ஸோ அந்த ஆதார ஸ்வரத்துக்கு ஸ்வரித்தம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, அப்புறம் உதத்தா அண்ட் அனுதத்தா, அந்த மாதிரி 2 ஸ்வரங்கள் மேலே கீழே. ஸோ அது சாரே சனே சாரே ரே சனே சாரி சா சா சாரே, இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய நம்ம சாண்டிங் கேட்டிருக்கோம். இது ரிக் யஜுர்வேதத்தில் இந்த 3 மேக்ஸிமம் 4 ஸ்வரங்கள் வச்சு தே வில் ரிசைட். ஆனால் சாம வேதம் அந்த மாதிரி இல்லை. சாம வேதத்தில் நம்ம பாட்லேயே ரெஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்குது. சமஜவரகமன்னா அந்த மாதிரி பாட்டெல்லாம் சேயிங் தட் அவர் ஷோபிலு சப்தஸ்வரால கரரே சமாதுலலோ வரகாயத்ரி ஹிருதயமுன. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இந்த பாட்டில் நமக்கு ரெஃபரன்ஸ் தான். அதாவது சாமவேதத்துலேருந்து வந்திருக்கு. சாமவேதம் எனக்கு தெரியாது, ஆனால் நான் கேட்டிருக்கேன். அது எப்படி வரும்னா காரே சனித பசா காரே கா, நீங்கள் கேட்கலாம், ரெக்கார்டிங்ஸ் இருக்குது. காரே சனித கிட்டத்தட்ட நம்ம 22nd மேலே கருத்தா ஹரஹர பிரியாவுடைய ஸ்வரஸ்தானங்கள் வச்சு இருக்கும். சா காரே சனித சா, இந்த மாதிரி தான் வரும். ஸோ அதுலேருந்து தான் ஒரு அடிஷ்னலாக ஒரு ஸ்வரம் போட்டு, அந்த காலத்தில் ஆதார ஷட்ஜம் அப்படியெல்லாம் இப்போ நம்ம போட்ட உடனே சான்னு ஆரம்பிக்கிறோம் இல்லையா, ஆதார ஷட்ஜம்னு இல்லை, ஒரு பேசிஸ் அந்த ஸ்வரித்தா வச்சுட்டு மேலே கீழே ஸ்வரஸ்தானங்களை வச்சு பாடி இருக்கணும். அதை டெவலப் பண்ணி இந்த சத்தஸ்வரங்கள் வந்தது. நாத தனுமனிஷம் நாத தனுமனிஷம் சகரம் நாத தனுமனிஷம் சகரம் நாத தனுமனிஷம் சகரம் நமாமி மே மனசா சிரசா நாத தனுமனிஷம் சகரம் நமாமி மே மனசா சிரசா நாத தனுமனிஷம் சகரம் நமாமி மே மனசா சிரசா நாத தனுமனிஷம். மோதகர நிகமோதம சாம மோதகர நிகமோதம சாம மோதகர நிகமோதம சாம வேத சாரம் வாரம் வாரம் மோதகர நிகமோதம சாம வேத சாரம் வாரம் வாரம் நாத தனுமனிஷம் சகரம் நமாமி மே
Sari Gama Padani Varasapta Swara Sari Gama Padani Varasapta Swara Vidyalolam Vigaditakaram Vidyalolam Vigaditakaram Vimadhidayatya Japanam Vimadhidayam Japanam Dadadano Manisham Sangatam Namame Manasa Shirasa Tanu
What is this ragam? Correct. Chittaranjani. It's actually sounds like Harahara Priya, but it doesn't go beyond the Madhyasthai Nishadam. Tarasthai ke bohal. Maybe the Saman chant Manasala Vechindu, Saint Tyagaraja would have composed. In fact, Saint Tyagaraja's Ishta Devata was Ishta Devata of Saint Tyagaraja? Ramar. And he has composed on music also. There are at least, I have given a full concert of kritis that he has composed on our music. Nariya paattu irukku. Moksha Mugalada, then that Kapilor paattu irukku. Sangeeta Jnanamu and Dhanyasi, Samajavara Gamana. A lot of songs are there. Inta Saukhyamu. So many songs about music, which means that all these great music composers have had an inkling of the music treatises before them. Saint Tyagaraja's time was in the latter half of the 18th century. So he would have had access to more ancient music treatises than we have today. Probably Saraswati Mahalliyo, Chinchana Library, maybe on the internet, kadikalam. But what is our source of information? These kritis itself. So the Saptaswara references comes here. But this is a more recent kriti. Sarigama Padani, Shadja Rishabha Gandhara, Madhyama Panchama, Daivata Nishada. So when you look at the ancient map of Bharatavarsha or the Indian peninsula, whatever you want to call it, there has been in the BC, this was what probably it looked like. We had the Magadha empires, the Ashoka's empire, which crossed even the Hindu Kush and the Himalayas. So there must have been some form of music up there. And when I'm talking of South also, there has been a history of music. For example, Sage Bharata, who has written the Natya Shastra, is from Kashmir. He's a Pandit from Kashmir. And he has written a treatise on Bharatanatyam. So what I'm trying to say is, there must have been a pan-Indian music form. And these Natya Shastra has references to the 22 Shrutis, the microtonal intervals. There are references to dance poses and so on. After the Vedic period comes the epic and the Puranic period. We all know that there are so many Puranas that we have read. Maybe they have been handed down from this period. Our narratives are full of, legends saying, that, and maybe they are true. But our documented history forces me to say that these are probably the ages when these periods were formed. But I am only here now, I am not approaching it as a historian. I am approaching from the eyes of a musician only. So, this question of the Saptaswaras being there, was there a raga? பழமையான ராகம், அந்த காலத்தில் வந்து பாடின்னு வந்த ராகங்கள். தட்ஸ் வாட் வி சே when we sing Neelambari, Ananda Bhairavi or Yadukula Kamboji or such ragams, Kamboji. We say these are very ancient ragams. How ancient are they? During this period, that is the epic period, the Pauranic period, that is the pre-medieval period, there doesn't seem to have been any ragam mentioned. So the concept of raga, which is the basis of Indian music, must have come later. But there were scales. I hope you all know the difference between raga and scales. You are all students of music. So scale means just the swaras. So Shankarabharanam is different from Dhira Shankarabharanam. Dhira Shankarabharanam is a scale. Shankarabharanam is the raga. Okay, this was how my guru Rajagopal Iyer taught me. Or let us say Kalyani has a wonderful ragam, but the scale is Meja Kalyani. People say that it was accommodated in the Govindacharya's Sangraha Chudamani or Venkatamakin's period to accommodate the Yagyavalkyar's Smriti, the way you can identify the position of the scale in the 72 Melakarta scheme. But that's going a little too much into theory. The point is that we only had some swarasthanas and the ragas were called like jatis, murchanas. We all know that murchana is, what is murchana? You take sa, sarigamapadani, and then you take ri as sa. Rigamapadani sari, then you say ga, gamapadani sariga, and so on. And that forms a different murchana. So what are the sources? This is not a musicology or a music theory class, but anyway, there are sources from as far back as the 2nd and 3rd century BC, Natya Shastra, and also other music treatises like Naradiya Shiksha and Dattilam by sage Dattila. And of course, during this period, there have been other books talking about the development of our music. Matangar has written Brihadeshi. In fact, they say that from Ramamatya and Matangar's period, we are talking about some names for the ragams and so on. And one of the great treatises on music is Sarangadevas. This is much later. It's in the 13th century. And he was also from Kashmir, and he has also given a lot of Sanskrit references to the various aspects of the jatis and the varna schemes are available at that time. When we say jati, it is related to musical jati. Okay, just remember that. Now we move on to the medieval period. Medieval means intermediate. Vedic period la ரொம்ப ஒன்றும் தெரியாது நமக்கு. அந்த சாம வேதத்துலேருந்து வந்திருக்கு. இந்த மாதிரி புக்ஸ் எல்லாம் நமக்கு கிடச்சிருக்கு. ஜாதி, மூர்ச்சனா, இந்த டேர்ம்ஸ் எல்லாம் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணுறது இல்லை இப்போது. ஷட்ஜ கிராம, மத்தியம கிராமம், இதெல்லாம் தியரியில் தான் இருக்குது. பட் நமக்கு இன்னும் கிடச்சில்ல, எப்படி பாடின்னு இருந்தால் தெரியாது. ஆனால் என்னாச்சு இந்த பீரியடில் நார்த் வெஸ்ட்டில் இந்த ஹிமாலயா பாசஸில் அது வழியாக நிறைய இன்வேஷன்ஸ். ஈவன் அலெக்சாண்டர் த கிரேட் கூட, அலெக்சாண்டர் எதுக்கு கிரேட்டு, அலெக்சாண்டர் தட் கிங் கேம் அப் டு தட் நார்த் வெஸ்டர்ன் பீரியட், பட் ஹீ வென்ட் பேக் அப்படின்னு தான் சொல்கிறாங்க. ஸோ லைக் தட் தெர் வர் செவரல் இன்வேடர்ஸ் அண்ட் வாட் ஹேப்பன் வாஸ் தெர் வாஸ் அ லாட் ஆஃப் கான்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ். இன்வேஷன் வந்தால் ஒன்லி பொலிட்டிக்கல் இன்வேஷன், ஆர்மி வில் கான்கர் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். அதோடு சேர்த்து அவங்க கல்ச்சரும் மிக்ஸ் ஆகும் இல்லையா. இப்போ நிறைய பேர் இப்போ நிறைய இன்டர்நெட் இருக்கிறதுனால கர்நாடிக் மியூசிக்லேயும் நிறைய மாற்றங்கள், நிறைய டிஃபரன்சஸ், இது ஃபியூஷன், கன்ஃபியூஷன் எல்லாம் இருக்குது. ஸோ தெர் இஸ் அ லாட் ஆஃப், வெனவர் தெர் இஸ் அனதர் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் தேர் கேன் பி சம் சேஞ்சஸ். ஸோ இந்த பர்ஷியன் மியூசிக்கே அதுவும் இதுவும் கலந்து ஒரு ஹிந்துஸ்தானி ஃப்ளேவர் வந்தது. ஸோ Drupad, which is the most ancient form of Hindustani style music, அது வந்து நமக்கு சதர்ன் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸில் தீக்ஷிதர் தான் என்ஜாய் பண்ணியிருக்கார். அதாவது அவர் சிதம்பரநாத யோகின்னு அவரோட குரு. இந்த பையனை பார்த்து ராமசாமி தீக்ஷிதர் அப்பா என் கூட வரட்டுமே, நான் வந்து காசி யாத்திரை போகிறேன். அந்த காலத்துக்கு காசி யாத்திரை பண்ணுவா, ஃப்ளைட் எல்லாம் கிடையாது. ஸோ போகிற வழி ஃபுல்லாக அவள் ப்ராபப்ளி புல்லக்காட் அந்த இதில் போய் வழியிலெல்லாம் சொல்லி தந்து ஒரு 3 மாதத்தில் வாரணாசி ரீச் ஆகி, ஸோ லாட் ஆஃப் டைம் வட் இன்ட்ராக்ஷன் வித் த குரு. அண்ட் ஆஃப்கோர்ஸ் அங்கே இருக்கிறதுனா இந்த மாதிரி 2 நாள் 3 நாள் இல்லை, மாதங்கள் they have stayed. Dikshidhar has seen and observed the Dhrupad style of music. அது வந்து அவருடைய பாட்டில் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆகி சில ராகங்கள் நமக்கு கிடச்சிருக்கு. யமுனா கல்யாணி ஆர் ஜெயஜெயவந்தி ஆர் பிருந்தாவன் சாரங்கா, இதெல்லாம் அந்த இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் ஆஃப் த ஹிந்துஸ்தானி ஸ்டைல். I'll give an example. Out of the slides, you can read and whatever you want. I'll be just demonstrating. I'll sing Jai Jaivanti. அதாவது ஒரு துளசிதாஸில் ஒரு பஜனில் ஒரு பார்ட்டு தான் அது. அந்த ஜெய் ஜெயவந்தி பாடிட்டு ஐ வில் ஆல்சோ கிவ் அ கிளிம்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஹவு Dikshidhar has adapted it. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana. This is not Jai Jayavanti. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam. Iti vadate Tulasidas Shankara Shesha Muni Mararanjanam. Iti vadate Tulasidas Shankara Shesha Muni Mararanjanam. Mama Hridaya Mama Hridaya Kanja Nivasa Karikamani Kalaimamani. Mama Hridaya Kanja Nivasa Karikamani Kalaimamani. Mama Hridaya Kanja Nivasa. So this was this is Jai Jaivanti. Even on the Dikshidhar is an innovator like Tyagaraja Swami. So he made his own, I won't say innovations, he brought in his own imagination to the raga. He called it Dvijayavanti. Jai Jayavanti means Dvijayavanti. And he gave it his own flavor. Chetashi Balakrishna just show you how one music influences the other. A good give and take. Manamohana Arela Arene Manamohana. This is a song in Seema sung by Lata Mangeshkar and Jai Jaivanti. If you want to hear a proper Jai Jaivanti, you can hear it in film music also. There's a Manamohana and Patana, Adagar. So, where music influences other forms. So, Hindustani music influenced film music. Shankar Jaikishan adopted it for his composition in Seema, the movie. So, this is how the map must have looked during the period of Muhammad Ghazni or Sultan Iltutmish. And in fact, Akbar was a patron of the arts. So there are many stories about how his court was full of musicians and court. In fact, I saw one or two pictures also of great court musicians of the kings of Travancore. Palghat Anantharaman, he was also in Mysore as well as in the court of Travancore. Incidentally, my guru is my first guru is his grandson, Palaghat Anantharaman. So Akbar was a patron of the arts, but then after that, around that time, there has been a bifurcation. So we should say only around the early part of the 14th century, King Haripala Deva from Devagiri, that is somewhere up northwest, that is in Maharashtra, he has written this book, Sangita Sudhakara, and he says, Tadapi Dividam Geyam, Dakshinottara Bhedataha, Karnatakam Dakshinesyat, Hindusthani Tadhuttari. So this he has said, there is a bifurcation, Carnatic and Hindustani. Though of course, Hindustan was the way our nation was described, and so Hindustani became associated with how others perceived our music. But way back in 14th century, this bifurcation has happened. Now, we are talking only about the north. What about the south? How was the southern part of the country? Very peaceful. If you see all the maps that I showed you, they rarely extended below the Vidyas. The Deccan Plateau kizh edume varala. Ella அந்த நார்த்லேயே ராஜஸ்தான், டெல்லி, Uttarakhand, Bihar, all current names I am saying, all those areas, the small kings were taken over, but south of the Vindhyas, relatively peaceful. And Tamil music was developing parallelly, almost simultaneously. And here is the difference. Tamil music வந்து எல்லாம் கோவிலில் நிறைய பாடிட்டு இருந்தா. ஓதுவா மூர்த்திகள்னு பேர். அவள் வந்து கதையெல்லாம் இருக்குது, நிறைய கதைகள் இருக்குது. அவள் எப்படி அந்த தேவாரங்கள் கண்டுபிடிச்சா அப்படின்ட்டு சிதம்பரத்தில் கண்டுபிடிச்சி அது வெளியில் கொண்டு வந்து அப்படி நம்ம பொக்கிஷங்கள் இருக்குது. நிறைய தமிழ் பாட்டுக்கள் அந்த காலத்துலேருந்து கம்போஸ் ஆகி நமக்கு வந்திருக்கு. ஸோ கோவிலில் டெவலப் ஆகி அதுக்கப்புறம் கோர்ட்ஸ்லேயும் தட் கிங்ஸுடைய ஜமீன்தாருடைய சப்போர்ட்டில் நம்ம மியூசிக் வளர்ந்துருக்கு. ஐ எம் டாக்கிங் ஸ்டில் ஆஃப் த மெடிவல் பீரியட் ஓன்லி. பட் மெடிவல் பீரியடுக்கு அப்புறமும் கோல்டன் பீரியட்லேயும் அந்த ராஜாக்களுடைய, அண்ட் வென் வி டாக் ஆஃப் கிங்ஸ், we must not think of them as just rulers. Many kings have written treatises on music and culture. Swati Tirunal Maharaja, we all know, he has been a composer and credited with several types of forms of music. So, King Haripala Deva himself was a king. So, they were not just rulers, but also patrons of the art. இது இல்லைன்னா நமக்கு இந்த அளவுக்கு வந்திருக்காது. அஃப்கோர்ஸ் கோவில்கள்லேயும் கோவிலும் கோர்ட்ஸ் பேலஸும் பெரிய வித்தியாசமே கிடையாது. ராஜாக்கள் தான் கோவிலை கட்டியிருக்கா. ஸோ ராஜாக்கள் கோவில் கட்டிக்கும்போது அதுக்கு உண்டான ஒரு மானியம், தே வில் கிரியேட் அ ஃபண்ட் ஃபார் தி பேட்ரனேஜ் ஆஃப் தி ஆர்ட்ஸ். அதனால தான் சிற்பங்கள், பெயிண்டிங்ஸ், டான்ஸ் எல்லாமே பாதுகாத்து வந்தது. வாட் எவர் வாஸ் ப்ரிசர்வ்டு during the various invasions, the British period, everything was due to this patronage from the local kings as well as the temples. India was not isolated. There has always been trade. So when I went to Cambodia, I found lot of traces of Hinduism there. We all know that up to Bali, we have a lot of our culture has gone there. Ramayana is performed in Thailand. So what I'm saying is, there has always been a give and take. So there have been traders from the Gulf, traders from Greece, who used to visit this part of the country and taken back. There has been probably exchange of the culture also. So the 7 notes is universal. Shadja, Rishabha, Gandhara, Madhyama, Panchama, Dhaivata, Nishada are known all in others Western music also. It is the major scale. Except that major scale is which scale? Dhira Shankarabharanam. We'll call it Dhira 29. Because Shankarabharanam in my mind is a raga. The scale 29 is the major scale, and minor scale is somewhat similar to yours. Some people say Natabhairavi, some people say Kiravani, but anyway. So I started this program saying Nadopasana, devotion, all those things, but not all of our music was devotional. I will give you an example of a song which is in praise of a king. Which king? We don't know. Some ancient king in BC, and it is finding place in a group of texts called Sangam texts. Sangam era is in Tamil literature. It is dating back to the 3rd, 4th century BC. We're talking of 2500 years or more from now. சில பேர் கேட்பா, இப்படி தான் பாடினான்னு எப்படி தெரியும்? தெரியாது. எங்களுக்கு அதாவது when confronted by such questions, I will only say எங்கள் குருநாதர் சொல்லி கொடுத்தது. ஏன்னா எங்கள் வழி அப்படி தான் ட்ரெடிஷ்னலி. இன்ஃபேக்ட் 50 years back when I started learning, there was no tape recorder also. எல்லாம் இங்கே தான் இருக்குது. And that's why I copy paste on, cut paste இல்லை, copy paste on my disciples. So we produced a serial some 10 years ago Pulavar Vaidilingam was an authority on music as well as more on Tamil literature. And this went to 170 episodes. We thought it would be stopping with 10 or 15. But then I documented all this Tamil music. We called it Pannisai Vittagargal. So the thing is, started from this Sangam period, how there are references to the Saptaswarangal even in the Sangam literature. Tolkapiyam, Selapadikarathalayum references irukku. So 7 ஸ்வரங்கள் இருக்குன்னு அப்போவே இருக்கிறதுனால நமக்கு அப்படி தான் பாடி இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு he says. But of course the ragas concept was also there, the swarasthana concept was also there. And again, oldest surviving poetry, நிறைய பேர்கள் இருக்கு, 8 தொகை, ஐங்குறுநூறு, புறநானூறு, அகநானூறு, கலித்தொகை and so on. But as I told you, our approach is that of a musician. So if some of you take interest in Tamil literature and start singing this in a concert, it will be something novel. But otherwise it will remain in the realm of theory. ஆனால் அந்த காலத்துலேயும் நிறைய பாட்டு இருந்திருக்கு. நிறைய இந்த யாழ், ஃப்ளூட் ஆஃப்கோர்ஸ் இருந்திருக்கு, வீணை இருந்திருக்கு, வேதங்கள்லேயே வீணை ரெஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்குது, அதே டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் யாழ் ரெஃபரன்சஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது. பறைன்னு ஒரு இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்,
பூதம் மருள பூண்டப்பரை ஹரய பூதம் மருள பூண்டப்பரை ஹரய பூதம் மருள நீண்ட சடையானாடு நீண்ட சடையாடும் என்ப மாண்ட புகழார் மறைமகள் காணவே காணவே பூண்டப்பரை ஹரய பூதம் மருள நீண்ட சடையான் ஆடும் என்ப மாண்ட புகழார் மறைமகள் காணவே காணவே.
you will not get many people singing this sort of songs. But if you note, there has been a certain format. You see the second syllable, Punda, Ninda, Manda, and so on. Some format is there of a composition. எங்க வைத்தியலிங்க சார்ட்ட கேட்டால் இதெல்லாம் பாடல்கள். These are all songs that were sung. Only we don't have recording. So how they were sung. There are of course references. The origins, we call them Melakartha today. In Tamil music they were called Palai. And we had derivatives of this Palai. They were called Pan. That itself is a separate topic. People talk for days on end about different Pan and their origins and so on. And in fact, there must have been பண்ண பாடுறவாளும் இருந்திருக்கணும். ஏன்னா பாணத்தின்னு ஒன்று இருக்குது. பாணத்தின்னா நம்ம ராகா ஆலாப்னா பாணத்தின்னு பாடினா இட் இஸ் த டெவலப்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் அ ராகா. அண்ட் தேர் ஆர் ரெஃபரன்சஸ் இன் திஸ். ஐ ஆல்ரெடி டோல்ட் யூ தி சங்கம் லிட்ரேச்சர் சிலப்பதிகாரத்தில். லிட்டில் லேட்டர், மேபி 200 years later, the story of Kannagi, all of you will know. But we are not interested in Kannagi. We are interested in the references to music in that. And there are we've spoken extensively in that. I haven't spoken, I only asked the questions. He was a great foundation of knowledge. அவர் வந்து பேசினது இருக்குது. Luckily I have recorded it in Makkal TV. So if we say Mohanam, it is Pan Gandharam. If we say Pantuvarali, it is Sadhari Pan. Okay, the names vary, but parallelly, south of the Vindhyas, there has been Tamil music for this. In fact, there are names for the Tamil Sapta Swarangal. Do you know the names? Yeah. Sapta Swarangal we know. Shadla, Rishabha, Gandhara, that we know. The Panniseila, Kural Tuttam Kaikilai, Udayinode, Iliyode, Viliridaram, Yenbava, Ejisain Namam. So that you know that. So Kural is Sa, Ri, Ga, Man, Adiliyum, Per. We move on into a very important period of our music history, and that is the concept of bhakti, the concept of devotion. Now, there are enough gods to pray to. Okay, so each composer, again not composer, each Vagayakarar, each saint chose their own Ishta Devata and were composing music in praise of their own Lord. The feeling is that you attain salvation, mukti. Pirava varam tarum kettirukingla. I don't want to be born again. This cycle of life and death, I don't want. This is what the refrain of most of the composers, that they don't want to be born again in any form. So this gets reflected as the outpourings of bhakti towards their Ishta Devata, be it in Marathi in the Abhangs, be it in the Purandaradasa in the Dasar Padams, be it the Hindi bhajans of Mirabai, Tulsidas, Surdas and others. In Tamil also there has been so much of revival of this form of music, that is as an offering to the Lord. If you look at other forms, secular music in Solumbodhu, Shringara Rasatla, dance forms, Javali, Padavarnangal, இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் தில்லானாஸ் இதெல்லாம் இருக்கும்போது அது எதுவும் இஷ்ட தேவதையோ சாமி பேரும் இருக்காது, ஸ்ருங்கார ரசம் அதுதான் முக்கியமாக இருக்கும். புரியுறதா? ஆனால் இதில் எல்லாமே அவுட் போரிங், அதுக்கு நிறைய கதைகளும் இருக்குது. அதாவது இந்த கம்போசர்ஸ் எப்படி உருவானா, how did they get influenced, and the story is that Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, Lord Vittala, Lord Muruga, all of them played with their lives. Played with their lives na leelaigalnu solluvaanga. That is, they cause incidents which make these saints realize their calling, and Swami perla என் பேரில் பாடு அப்படின்னு சிவன் சொல்லியிருக்கார். Okay, so this is the legend associated with all these composers. Of course, இப்போ when we talk about music, it has become a performing art. இப்போ நான் சாயந்தரம் கச்சேரி பாடுறேன், முடிஞ்சா வாங்கோ. If I sing here, I'll be thinking of music as an abstract form of performing art. My bhakti is all towards how I perform. It has evolved like that. Earlier as a form of worship, and now as a performing art. I am not saying they are exclusive. அதையும் சொல்லலை. நிறைய பக்தியோட பாடுறாங்க, பட் பர்ஃபார்மிங் ஆர்ட்டாக இவங்க யாருமே கம்போஸ் பண்ணலை. So, Tamil music, because this is very ancient, I spoke about the pre-Sangam period. இனிமேல் நிறைய பாடுவேன். I won't be talking much. The Tevarams. In fact, there are 63 Nayanmars. Nayanmars means devotees of Lord Shiva, as opposed to the Alvars, who are devotees of the Lord Vishnu. So, you have the Shaivites, the Nayanmargal, 63, not all of them were music composers. The முக்கியமான 3 பேர் upper Gnanasambandar and in fact Gnanasambandar, Appar and Sundarar in that order. Somewhere between 6th and 8th century AD அவங்க டைமிங் இருந்திருக்கணும். And அந்த பீரியட்லே they caused a revival of bhakti towards Lord Shiva across South India. ஏன் அப்படி சொல்லும்போது நீங்கள் எல்லாம் கல்வெட்டு எல்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது இவங்க இந்த செயின்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இந்த கோவில்களில் வந்து பாடினதாக. ஸோ இஃப் யூ கோ டு சிதம்பரம் அங்கே ஒரு நடராஜர் பேரில் பாட்டு இருக்கும். நம்ம என் வீட்டு பக்கத்தில் ஐ ஸ்டே இன் திருவான்மியூர், அங்கே வான்மியூர் ஐயனே அப்படின்னு நிறைய பதிகங்கள் இருக்குது, நிறைய பாட்டுகள் இருக்குது. ஸோ இந்தந்த ஊர்களுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து அவள் பாடி அவளுடைய டிவோஷனை வந்து அர்ப்பணித்து ஃபார் தி காஸ் ஆஃப் பட் தேவர் ஆல் மியூசிக். தேவர் நாட் ஜஸ்ட் சாண்டட், தேவர் ஆல் மியூசிக், பாடல்கள். ஓகே, நவ் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் தேர் ஆர் மெனி ஸ்டோரிஸ் அபவுட் ஹவு ஞானசம்பந்தர் வாஸ் சீன் as a baby and how he composed Todudaya Seviyan as a child of 3, and then there are Appar or Tirunavukkarasar suffered from very severe stomach pain and was relieved from his stomach pain by singing a song. But since I am Sundar, I will sing a song composed by Sundarar. Okay, the story is that Sundarar was supposed to get married. Okay, and as he was about to, the all relatives எல்லாம் வந்திருக்கா, அந்த மேரேஜ் நிச்சயம் ஆகணும். அந்த சமயத்தில் ஒரு வயசானவர் பெரியவர் வந்து இந்த கல்யாணம் நடக்க முடியாது அப்படின்னு, யூ கான்ட் மேரி, ஒய் ஆல் தி இவர் ஆல் ஃபேமிலிஸ் ஒரே சர்ப்ரைஸ் ஸ்டண்ட், ஒய் நோ யூ சி திஸ் டாக்குமெண்ட் says that you are my slave, Sundarar is my slave. So the story goes that they all challenged it. Sundarar got very angry, and this old man who was Shiva himself ran into the temple in Thiruvennainallur and vanished. Story goes that Sundarar was overcome with emotion. I did not know that you are Lord Shiva, now I am your slave. In fact, he did not treat him as a slave, he treated him as a friend. That's the difference. Some people, there are நவவித பக்தின்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரியலாம். சிலது வந்து ஆத்மநிவேதனம், அர்ச்சனம், சக்கியம், பந்தனம், இப்படி நிறைய இருக்குது, வாத்சல்யம். So many types of bhakti is there. In Sundarar's case, he treated the Lord as his friend. Shivan is my friend. That's it. Ana bhakti. That's a type of bhakti. So he asked Shiva, எனக்கு ஒன்றும் பாட்டு தெரியாது, எதில் பாடுறது? பித்தா, நீ என்ன பித்தான்னு கூப்பிட்டல, யூ கால் மீ அ மேட் மேன், யூ ஸ்டார்ட் வித் பித்தா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, பித்தா பிறை சூடி,
பித்தா பிறை சூடி
பெருமானே அருளாள, பித்தா பிறை சூடி பெருமானே அருளாள, எத்தான் மறவாதே நினைக்கின்றேன் மனத்தோனே, எத்தான் பால் வெண்ணை நல்லூரருட்டுரையுள் வைத்தாய், பெண்ணை பால் அருட்டுரையுள் லத்தா உனகளையினியல்லே எனலாமே, அத்தா காரூர் புனலீதி கரை கல்லித்திரை கையால்
பாரூர் புகழ் ஏறி கரை கல்லித்திரை கையார்
பாரூர் புகழ்
ஏறி திகழ் பன்மாமலை உந்தி பாரூர் புகழ் ஏறி திகழ் பன்மாமலை உந்தி சீரூர் பெண்ணை தென்பால் வெண்ணை நல்லூர் அருட்டுரையுள் சீரூர் பெண்ணை தென்பால் வெண்ணை நல்லூர் அருட்டுரையுள் ஆரூரன பெருமகள் அல்லேனலாமே ஆரூரன பெருமகள் அல்லேனலாமே ஆரூரன் எம்பெருமகள் அல்லேனலாமே
You would have noticed that the kshetram name came. Vennai Nallur nu varum. Vaitai Pennai Tenpal Vennai Nallur Arutturayul. So wherever they went, they would give the name of the temple. That is why they are called Padal Petra Talangal. Padal Petra Talangal means that particular temple is mentioned in the song itself. So Thiruvanmiyurla Thiruvanmiyur Ayyane, or in Kapali Koil there will be a reference to that temple. Sometimes the ancient name of the temple will come, may not be the current name. And very often the mudra of the composer, for Sambandar used to put his name, whereas our man Sundarar put the name as Aruran. Aruran means Tiruvarur. His Ishta Devatas, Lord Tyagaraja of Tiruvarur. So he would always put Aruran. Now we move on to the Vaishnavite saints. They are still being chanted in Srirangam in Trichy as the Nalayiram Divya Prabandhangal can be also sung as songs. In fact, we sometimes give concerts also only of Divya Prabandham. See, these are ways by which these songs come out. If we have the repertoire, so be it. We can always keep learning. So the Alvargal were 12 in number, and around the same period of time, they brought about a revival of Vaishnavism. So we have saints like Periyalvar, who was in Rajapalayam. What's that place? Temple. Sri.Vaidyanatha, correct. I remember Sri.Vaidyanatha as a place where you get good Palgova. Anyway, it is also famous for the temple as well as the Periyalvar and his daughter Andal, that is Nachiyar. We also have other Alvars, Thirumangai Alvar, Kulasekara Alvar, Namma Alvar, Pei Alvar, Periyalvar, Tondaradi Podi Alvar. Lot of stories with their associated with these saints. So we'll sing one Prabandham also. வெண்ணையளைந்த குணுங்கும் வெண்ணையளைந்த குணுங்கும் விளையாடு புழுதியும் கொண்டு
விளையாடு புழுதியும் கொண்டு தனை போதும் இருந்தே நினை புலி பழம் கொண்டு இங்கு எத்தனை போதும் இருந்தே நலறிய பிரானே
was different. Narana Neeradavara. It's like a mother calling the child, come to take bath. You know how children, they don't want to come to take bath. So she sees a little Krishna, he. So Periyalvar thinks that he is the mother and Vatsalya Bhava. He is calling the child, Vennai Puli Padanla Kondandirken, you want the Kuli, please. She is enticing also. How to. So this sort of imagination, the poetry involved, the prosody involved, all of this adds to our literature. Do we have a tea break or something? Okay. Yeah, so is this the form of music that we are singing today? Is the question, right? So far I have been sticking to the evolution, history, all these things, probably boring to all of you. That is the thing, but I have been singing also. The point is that we need to know how, as students of music, we need to know how all this has developed. It did not happen overnight. All these ragams, evolution of Todi or Bilahari and all that did not happen overnight. Somebody doesn't just wake up and say, okay, today I will compose Bilahari. It has been handed down, probably changed. All of you know that Ananda Bhairavi that is sung today is different from what it was sung many centuries ago. But yes, there has been a tradition associated with it. Can anyone define tradition? What is tradition? Tradition. நம்ம சம்பிரதாயம் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா? What is that? Huh? No, followed by everybody. Yes, that's a very important point. So, if it is to be a tradition, it has to be accepted by all. 2, it is handed down through generations. இது என்னோட definition கிடையாது. Lord Acton noddu. So handed down through generations. And third, it changes. That's mukyamana point. It changes, but changes imperceptibly. And when in doubt, refer to point 1. It must be accepted by all. Puriyarda? So if tradition does not change, we will be still singing Ponda Paraya only. We will never have a Tyagaraja, we will never have a Dikshidhar. Please understand. There were ragas who were brought out by Saint Tyagaraja, invented by Dikshidhar, new forms of compositions invented by all these great saints and composers. So, why am I saying this? It admits of change, but it has to be imperceptible and also has to be accepted by the vast majority of the Rasikas. So, Ragam also has evolved like that. So, now we are trying to codify. People have seen 103 different punts, several hundreds of names of ragams that are available. Idhila vera Hindustani ragam vera kalandu. So people are now getting confused. How to, there are ancient ragams and there are new ragams and there are yet to be invented ragams, right? Kalpyamana melam, kalpaishyamana melam. So what are the ragams to be this thing in future? So there have been scientific studies, much more advanced than what we can imagine, of how these swarasthanas can be permuted and combined, permutation and combination of these various swarams, in order to get us the 72 Melakarta scheme. I am not going to the details of the scheme, but remember that variations of the non-achala swaras, that is Riga, Ma, Dhani, Sa and Pa being constant, we have Riga, Ma and Dhani, and that variation will be there. The point is, it was codified by somebody who like Venkata Makin and later on Govindacharya, who codified it to say, Idda vechugo, idda unnoடைய எல்லா ராகங்களும் இந்த 72லேருந்து வரக்கூடிய ஜன்யங்கள். ஓ வந்தாச்சு. There are books. I am not saying out of my own experience. There are books. Chaturdandi Prakashya has given this, and Govindacharya in his Sangraha Chudamani has given some references. And that is how we have the evolution of the ragas. Now we will take independent how compositions have evolved. I talked about Tevaram, Divya Prabandham, because that was mostly in South India. But there are contributions to music from other states. So one of the earliest was Jayadeva, who was a king who was a minister in the court of a Chola king in Orissa. And he composed an opera, a Sanskrit opera called Gita Govinda. Now, it is sung in Carnatic style as well as Hindustani style. I will sing one in the Hindustani style. Tamath manmath chinna rati rasabhinna vishada sampanna anuchintita Haricharita Kalahadarita Muvaja Raji Sakhi Hari Rabi Sarati Vahari Madhupavare
हरिरभि सरति वहति मधुपवने हरिरभि सरति वहति मधुपवने किम परमधिक सुखं सखि भुवने हरिरभि सरति वहति मधुपवने किम परमधिक सुखं सखि भुवने माधवे मा गुरु मानिनी मानमये मा गुरु मानिनी माधवे मा गुरु मानिनी मानमये मा गुरु मानिनी हरिरूपया तु वदतु बहुमधुरं हरिरूपया तु वदतु बहुमधुरं किमिति करोषि हृदयमतिविधुरं हरिरूपया तु वदतु बहुमधुरं किमिति करोषि हृदयमतिविधुरं माधवे मा गुरु मानिनी मानमये मा गुरु मानिनी माधवे मा गुरु मानिनी मानमये मा गुरु मानिनी श्री जयदेव भणितं हरिललितं श्री जयदेव भणितं हरिललितं श्री जयदेव भणितं हरिललितं सुगयतु रसिकजनं हरिचरितं श्री जयदेव भणितं हरिललितं सुगयतु रसिकजनं हरिचरितं माधवे मा गुरु मानिनी मानमये मा गुरु मानिनी माधवे मा गुरु मानिनी मानमये मा गुरु मानिनी Yeah, back to this is the 15th and 16th century still in North India. Again, a very constellation of stars must have caused this to happen, because there also we had Mirabai, Kabir, Tulsi, and all of those singing their bhajans. I'm not singing a bhajan because this Jayadeva itself was like a bhajan only. But remember that a lot of give and take was there. Bhajans is one format. They are praising the Lord. The story of Purandaradasa is known to most of us. Navakoti Narayana avaru peru. Avaru vandu Bayangara Mysar. He was a diamond merchant, but the story goes that Vittala played an incident in his life and he changed totally, gave away everything and became a saint. There are again, during that period, a lot of dasar, Kanakadasa and other dasas have composed a lot of music. I'll sing a dasar padam for you now.
Rama 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 Ramayani Rosita Rama 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 Ramayani Rosita Rama 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 Ramayani Rosita Rama Rama Ramayani Rosita Rama 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 Nemadinda bhajiಸುವವರ ಕಾಮಿದಗಳ ಕೊಡುವ ರಾಮ ನೇಮದಿಂದ ಭಜಿಸುವವರ ಕಾಮಿದಗಳ ಕೊಡುವ ರಾಮ ನೇಮದಿಂದ ಭಜಿಸುವವರ ಕಾಮಿದಗಳ ಕೊಡುವ ರಾಮ 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 ಸೀತ ರಾಮ 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 ಈಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟವೊಂದು ಪರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಖವೊಂದು ಈಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಷ್ಟವೊಂದು ಪರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಖವೊಂದು ಪರಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲದು ಪರಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಸ್ಮರಣ ಬಾಯಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲದು ರಾಮ ರಾಮ ರಾಮಯನಿ ರೋಸಿತ ರಾಮ 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 So like Jayadeva, here also people sing this in Hindustani style and some songs are sung in our pure Carnatic style. See, you must know that wherever we talk about a proper Pathantaram, Dikshidhar Pathantaram, Shama Shastri Pathantaram, why? Because there is a lineage of Guru Shishya Parampara. Tyagaraja was very lucky. He had lot of disciples. Not only disciples, but very dedicated disciples. So, they carried on the kritis that were sung by Tyagaraja, their guru, and it was propagated by them. Because Manamuchavadi Venkateswara Iyer had great disciples. They were all blessed. His whole lineage, they were very blessed. Palaghat Venkataramanavadar had disciples. So even though there was no recording of what Tyagaraja sang, we still have some of those songs. And I heard my guru saying that they were actually embellished and made better by his Shishya Parampara, which included people like Puchi Srinivasa Iyengar or Pattanam Subramanyar, Tirutru Tyagayar. All these people were greats. They stood on the shoulders of Tyagaraja and made the music more and more developed. But if at all there has been a Shishya Parampara for Dasarwal or Jayadevar, it is probably confined to the devotional performances in Puri or in some temples in Kannada. At least I don't know. Where I don't know, I must say I don't know. But I only know what my guru taught me in that Vasanta Ragatala Paadu and the Mari. So why is Purandaradasa known as a Sangeeta Pitamahar? Because he is credited with having codified the Abhyasa Ganam. Abhyasa Ganam means learning. They say he created the Alankarams, the Sarli and the Janti Varisaigal and so on. In fact, the first song of his is a Geetam. When he broke out into song, it was a Geetam. As opposed to Sabha Ganam. So what comes in Abhyasa Ganam is the Varisaigal, Dhatu Varisaigal, Geetam, Jati Swaram, Swara Jati and the Varnams. For want of time, I am not going to sing a Varnam now. All of you know Varnams or Geetams. Many of you would have learned this in your Abhyasa stage. So this again boosted a lot of interest in people to learn music. Another set of compositions called Tirupugal. Tirupugal has a different deity, Muruga, Lord Muruga. Again, there are stories associated with how Arunagirinathar wanted to commit suicide and was prevented by Lord Muruga and so on. And he is called Chanda Pavala Peruman because of the intricacies in Thala rendering, which has composed. There are many Tirupugals. In fact, many of the songs have been lost to us. Some people have said to have composed 3,75,000, 1,50,000 and all that. But a few are available to us, which we still need to preserve. Now she will sing a Tirupugal which contains some intricate Tala formations.
வைத்துணரேனே உனது பழனி மலையனும் ஊரை சேவித்தறியேனே ஒரு பொழுதும் இரு சரண நேசத்தே வைத்துணரேனே உனது பழனி மலையனும் ஊரை சேவித்தறியேனே பெரு புவியில் உயர்
the glee in his face, இந்த மாதிரி சந்தம் எல்லாம் போட்டு he is so happy to play. So we got to involve the accompaniments. Sai Raghavan and Srijit are giving me so much support, as they will in the evening today, as Kirtana, my disciple also. So yeah, we are still in the 15th century. Okay. There was another intermediate composer from Andhra called Annamacharya. Again, the same problem. We don't know how he composed these songs. They were recovered as copper plates from Tirupati Devasthanam in the temple premises, last century only. Beautiful songs, several songs are there, but we have preserved it by tuning them and singing them. So, a lot of songs are available. M.S. Sama has popularized many of them. So, again, we are now in the pre-golden era, maybe the 15th, 16th, 17th century, because the golden era starts only after the Trinity comes, or when the British are actually in full control here. But prior to that, we have had composers who laid the foundations for this renaissance of music. And you must know the social situation then. The Mughal era was at its decline. It was peaking in Akbar's time and after that. But by the time of Bahadur Shah Zafar II, there was hardly anything left. And these small kingdoms, Maharashtra kingdoms, they were all coming and, capturing other areas. British Empire was to follow. So there was always some feudal activity between all these kingdoms. So you can see how Bharatavarsha looked during this period. And the Maharashtra, the Pandharipur influence was the Abhangs. The songs in Marathi, we had Sant Eknath, Tukaram, Jnaneshwar and others who composed in Marathi. And those Marathi Abhangs, because the Maratha kings came and ruled over Tanjavur, Sarabhoji, Sambhaji, Tulajaji and others. So there was intermingling of the cultures, and there was Kirtan. Now what is Kirtan? What is Kriti? Does anybody know? Yes? Exactly. Kirtanams is in praise of the Lord. That's correct. Kriti? Sorry? More importance is to the composition. Yeah, you're right. A Kriti may be in the praise of the Lord. Yes. Most important. He is correct. The point is that a lot of people say Kirtanam Badanga. But yeah, we take it as colloquially, that's the same. But my Guru told me that Kirtanams and Kritis are different. A Kriti is like a sculpture. It's carefully crafted. I don't say that it has been composed like that. Maybe it occurred directly to Tyagaraja, Shyama Shastri, it occurred to them, we don't know. But the structure is very crafted. So, suppose you take a song like Devi Bro So there is so much of perfection in the edupu, perfection in the language, in the prosody,
so many. Dikshidhar Kattana, you'll go flat. So much of beauty in his kritis. If he starts a line with ksha, you know how ksha is in Malayalam. It's like that. Kshitija Ramanam, Kshitipati, everything will start with ksha. Shri Durge. Karunarasalaye Kali Kalmashabilaye Karunaras. Look at the ye. Laye. Karunarasalaye Kali Kalmashabilaye Karavidhrita Kovalaye Kanana Nilaye Sharanagizalaye. Ella laye laye ne varum. Sharanagizalaye Swami Karavalaye Swara Sangitalaye Suruchiramalaye Guru Guhodaye Sadaye Vijaye Abhaye Saradamaye Shadzamaye Samaye Kalaye Shri. So Kirtanam is different. Kirtanam means you sing one. Any other name. You all can join in.
Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana
Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana
Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana
Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana
Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana Hari Narayana.
எல்லாரும் பாடலாம். Everybody can sing. This is not required because it's just devotion. You sit in a sabha or in a big hall. All the people sing together. Sudhi serliya, no problem. Talam varliya, no problem. Because kirtana, it is a kirtanam. Kriti, no. Observe this kriti by Dikshidhar. See, there's tra. Okay. The Chatra Chamar Karadhrita Bharata Lakshmana Shatrugna. எல்லாமே tra tra bra எல்லாம் வரும். Chatra Chamara Karadhrita Bharata Lakshmana Shatrugna Vibhishana Sugriva Pramukhadi Sevita Hatri Vashishtadyanugraha Patra Dasharata Putra Manirangavalyalakrita Navaratna Mandape Vichitra Manimaya सिंहासने सीतया सह संस्थित सुचरित्र परम पवित्र गुरु गुहमित्र
पंकजमित्र
वंशसुधा बुद्धि चंद्र मेदिनी बाल बाल रामचंद्र राम tra bra gra, everything comes into it. Is this a kirtana? It's a kriti. So there is so much of divinity that is, I would say, I won't even say talent, aptitude, these are all small words. There's so much of divinity that has gone into the formation of this art. So we must be there to appreciate. Oh, இப்படி பண்ணியிருக்காரு, சும்மா பாட்டு ரசிக்கலாம். You can enjoy the tune, you can enjoy the raga, you can enjoy the music. But prosodically so much is there, which I am still trying to analyze and find out. Anyway, Kirtana is not like that. So you have the devotional content, which is more important. Amrita huni god नाम तुझा देवा, नाम तुझा देवा, मन माझा केशव कावानाये कावानाये अमृतौनी गोड नाम तुझा देवा, नाम तुझा देवा. So the abhangs which are sung in the praise of Lord Vitthala found their entry into Tanjavur and other places, and the Trinity, Sadguru Swami, Sridhara Iyer and such people encouraged or brought in a revolution of bhakti related kirtana based music. Tyagaraja also not an exception. He also composed very simple songs. Na pali Shirama Upalaka Soma. You must have heard those songs. Hecharika Karara He Ramachandra, Hecharika Karara He Suguna Shayandra. Simple. Sita Kalyana Vaibhogame Pavana Jastuti Patra Pavana Charitra Ravi Somavara Netra Ramaniya Katra. Simple. You don't need to be big Vidwan to sing these songs. Utsava Sampradaya. From devotional music, I'll just give a glimpse to, I won't call non-devotional music, but where there is no specific deity or any, Shiva, Murugan, these are all Shringara Rasa. Kshetraja was one of the pioneers and most prolific of those composers. So these are called padams. Because of their content, they were very suited to dance. So dance la nariya இந்த பதங்கள் பதவர்ணங்கள் தில்லானா இதெல்லாம் நிறைய பாடுவோம். ஜாவளி is actually bordering on the erotic ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. That is that many of them composed in Telugu, but there are also Tamil javalis. Ganam Krishnayar, in the Mari people, they have composed a lot of javalis. So these are, of course, ancient, sometimes even pre-Trinity era, but they also are part of our tradition, part of our culture. Sarasa bola dedanduko, Sarasa bola dedanduko, Sarasa bola dedanduko, సమయమిది గాదురన సమి సరసములాడెడందుకు సమయమిది గాదురన సమి సరసములాడెడందుకు
సమయమిది
సమి సరసములాడెడందుకు సమయమిది గాదురన సమి సరసములాడెడందుకు విరసముతో విరసముతో
నా ఇంటి వాళ్ళను
నన్ను విరసముతో
నా ఇంటి వాళ్ళను వివిధ బగను చూసి
గుడిన వేళ నాదో సరసములాడెడందుకు విరసముతో విరసముతో నా ఇంటి వాళ్ళను
వివిధ బగను
గుడిన వేళ నాదో సరసములాడెడందుకు లాగాయోచున్నది నికానికా వెళ్ళలాగాయోచున్న నికముగా ఇడుల చేసింది నికానికా వెళ్ళలాగాయోచున్న నికముగా ఇడుల చేసింది తగదూరా తగదూరా ఈ విధిలో వచ్చువారు తగదూరా
ఈ విధిలో వచ్చువారు
నటునది చూస్తేను విదిటోరు కనుగా సరసములాడెడందుకు విధిలో వచ్చువారు నటునది చూస్తే నవ్విదిటోరు కనుగా సరసములాడెడందుకు
సమయమిది గదురన సమి
This is a Javali, light-hearted composition. You don't have to sing on big Ranganayakam or anything. Javali, people are happy. So all these songs come in the latter end of the, you must have attended concerts. So the Tukadas Varumbodha, Javali, Tillana, Ragamalige, Tirupugal, Tevaram, all these things have found place in the Tukada section. So the ragas are also periya. You don't have major ragas. It's light-hearted. Kapi. This ragam was kapi. Similarly, you have other kamas and such. Shringara rasa pradhana rakti ragangal. Yeah. So regarding the modern phase, all this has set the pace for the renaissance of music. And that is the golden period of Carnatic music. Can anybody say why is the golden period? Yes. Yeah. The Trinity period, correct. I would call that as the major, yes, of course. And why is it golden? It's because some constellation of stars made all these great people be born in the same place, Tiruvarur. And the same constellation never allowed them to stay in the same place. Saint Tyagaraja lived in Thiruvayaru. Shama Shastri lived in Tanjavur. And Dikshidhar, all over the place. Dikshidhar has come to even Chennai. He has come to Manali. He has gone to Varanasi. He has gone to Ettayapuram. He has gone to Madurai. He composed his first song in Tirutani. So he was a big traveler. So he didn't remain. Of course, Tyagaraja also traveled. Tyagaraja has composed Skovur Pancharatnam and Tiruvotriyur Pancharatnam. All those things he has composed while traveling. But Dikshidhar had a visa for all states of India. He has applied long back and he remained always on travel. And likewise his Shishya Parampara was very strong. He had a lot of students. I'll finish in about 5 minutes because everybody knows about Tyagaraja, we know about Shama Shastri, we know about Dikshidhar. Of course, we may not know so much about the people immediately before the Trinity. We have people like Uttukadu Venkat Subbayar. We have Pachimiriya Madipayar. Why is he famous for? Tanavarnam in which ragam? Bhairavi, yan kekavanda, Bhairavi. Yeah, so that is the Tanavarnam, which all of us would have learned in our basic music education. Almost like a syllabus. If you want to know Bhairavi, you learn that Tanavarnam composed by Adiyapayar. A case of how the Kriti is more famous than the composer. Who knows about Adiyapayar? Everybody knows Tyagaraja. Everybody knows poor Adiyapayar. He has composed one of the most famous pieces of Carnatic music. People have told me, if you learn Viriboni and Shama Shastri Kamakshi, you don't need to know any other documentation for Bhairavi. So this question arises, did ragas come before or kritis come before? It's like the chicken and egg story only, na? We don't know what came earlier because the ragas, it seems, were predating all these kritis, but the kritis are those which gave them a form, isn't it? Suppose you have this varnam, Viriboni, அது அகாரத்தில் பாடினா ராகம் தான் அது. You get the Bhairavi Swarupam straight away. Kamakshi. It's a Swarajati. I don't know why it's called a Swarajati, because it is more expansive than even a Kriti. So that's why it's called the golden period, because it based on the foundations of Muthu Tandavar, Pachimitya Mari Muttapulai, Pachimiriya Madipayar, Govindacharya, and also Tyagaraja was not born a genius. He was a genius, but somebody has coached him. He has been like Shama Shastri was coached by Sangeeta Swami. Dikshidhar was coached by Chidambaranatha Yogi.
I forgot to tell you. Well, this is the golden age also which happened during the British period. May sound funny to us now, but during the British period, they were traders. So all the Rajas here and there were focusing on not administration, they were focusing on so many other things, including patronage of the arts. So you find many Rajas actually composing music, writing plays and dramas. So they didn't have to only manage the affairs of the court. They had so many passions apart from that. Swati Tirunal Maharaja is one example. So the British Empire, it was all pervading throughout India, but they were only traders and not many. At no stage were there more than a few thousands of Britishers in India. It was all our own people managing ourselves. So the stomachs were full and they looked into the various arts. So these are some of the pre-Trinity composers. And then we just spoke about the Trinity. So around the same period was another great composer called Gopala Krishna Bharati. He composed in Tamil. And see, the advantage of Arunachala Kavirayar and Gopala Krishna Bharati was they composed operas. And operas are meant to be performed. So by performing them, Ramanatakam or Nandanar Charitram, these plays gained popularity. People individually adapted some of those songs for the concerts. So for example, they also must have interacted. There is a story of Gopala Krishna Bharati visiting Saint Tyagaraja. Tyagaraja was singing, Manasu Nelpa, he was singing Abhogi. And then he asked, he mentioned, there is one, he asked Gopala Krishna Bharati. He did not know who he was. There was no Aadhaar card at that time. So he asked, நீங்க எங்க இருந்து வரீங்க? நான் வந்து சிதம்பரத்துலேருந்து வரேன். ஸோ சீர்காழியிலையும் இருந்திருக்கார், கோவிந்தபுரத்துலேயும் இருந்திருக்கார் கோபால கிருஷ்ண பாரதி. அங்கேயா அப்படியா, அங்கே ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு கம்போசர் இருக்கா, அவரை பற்றி நான் கேட்டிருக்கேன், கோபால கிருஷ்ண பாரதி தான். ஸோ த ஸ்டோரி கோஸ் தட் ஹி ஆஸ்க்ட் ஹிம், நீ ஆபோகியில் என்ன கம்போஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க? He kept silent and then he composed this song, and next day he sang this song in front of Tyagaraja. So these are the stories of greats meeting other greats. Sabhapatik ver devam samanamaguma Tillai sabhapatik vedevam 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 samanamaguma Tillai sabhapatik Sabhapatik vedevam samanamaguma Tillai sabhapatik
சபாபதிக்கு வேறு தெய்வம் சமானமாகுமா? ஒரு தரம் சிவ சிதம்பரம் என்று சொன்னால் போதுமே. ஒரு தரம் சிவ சிதம்பரம் என்று சொன்னால் போதுமே. பரகதிக்கு வேறு புண்ணியம் பண்ண வேண்டுமா? பரகதிக்கு வேறு புண்ணியம் பண்ண வேண்டுமா? அரிய புலையர் பூவர் பாதம் அடைந்தாரே புராணம் அறிந்து சொல்ல கேட்டும். அரிய புலையர் பூவர் பாதம்
அடைந்தார் என்றே புராணம்
அறிந்து சொல்ல கேட்டோம். கோபால கிருஷ்ணன் பாடும் தில்லை சபாபதிக்கு சமானமாகுமா? தில்லை சபாபதிக்கு தெய்வம் சமானமாகுமா? So, I'm not going more into kritis. There are different types of kritis. The Pancharatna kritis nu solranga, that is a different format. There are kritis with a lot of charanams. There are kritis without a pallavi, only charanam. This sort of formats are there, we all know that. So I will conclude my talk with kriti by Sri.Vaidyanatha Maharaj in Raga Madhyamavati. Sri.Vaidyanatha Maharaja was a great patron of the arts, we all know that. And Dikshitar's disciples, the quartet, the Tanjavur quartet, Ponnaya, Chinnaya, Shivanandam and Vadivel, supposed to have visited this Travancore court and composed a lot of music here, and also devised the dance music in a big way. That is the format of the Jatiswaram, the Alaripu and other formats in dance, Bharatanatyam, were said to have been originated by these quartet brothers. Dance music, that's another ocean, because there are several adaptations of our music to suit dance. But I'll sing a song composed by Maharaja Sri.Vaidyanatha. Kosalendra Mamavamida Kosalendra Mamavamida Kosalendra Mamavamida Kosalendra Mamavamida Kosalendra Mamavamida Gunanivasa Bhagavan Kosalendra Mamavamida Gunanivasa
Nivasa
Bhagavan Vasamana Mahamani Mandapa Vasamana Mahamani Mandapa Vasamana Mahamani Mandapa Vasamana Mahamani Mandapa Vasamana Mahamani Mandapa
Parivilasita
Simhasana Rasinga Parivilasita Simhasana Rachita Parivilasita Simhasana Rachita Parivilasita Simhasana Rachita Parivilasita Rachita Kosameda Mahamamita
Nivasa Janaki Lasita Gajana Dasya Vilasita Ranga
Janaki Lasita Gajana Dasya Vilasita Ranga Manu Kodi Bayodhi Banu Kodi Bayodhi Shashanka
Banu Kodi Bayodhi Shashanka
Banu Kodi Bayodhi Shashanka Pada Vihara Muni Karuni Ranga Pada Vihara Muni Karuni Ranga Pada Vihara Muni Karuni Ranga Pada Vihara Muni Ranga Kosameda Mahamamita Nivasa I thank the organizers of this function, the Palaghat Fine Arts Society and its members for having given us the opportunity to perform and share some of our experiences in music to all of you.